Alzheimer's affected you?
So Alzheimer's affected me personally in a couple of different ways. My grandmother had Alzheimer's and passed away at 92, mostly from complications of that. And there was a huge behavioral shift in her as the disease progressed with her. And my father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, early stage dementia and Alzheimer's when he was about 64, which was really early. And it was a key contribution to his early death.
How did the disease progress from whenever they were diagnosed?
So I was more closely involved with my dad's progression, so I'll talk specifically about that. We knew that he was struggling to find words to put his sentences together. He'd get lost in the middle of a sentence as to where he was going. Stories wouldn't quite make sense. And my sister and I talked about it a lot and knew that we needed to do something about it. And so I remember having a phone call with him and saying, "Dad, listen, I think you need to go to the doctor. I'm concerned about this." And he said, "Okay, I'll do it." And shortly thereafter, his overall health declined. Had a couple of, he fell and the ambulance had to come and get him and things like that. And he was diagnosed with diabetes and there was some serious ramifications from that. And the Alzheimer's wasn't really the first thing that triggered a lot of these health crises that he went through, and as a result of him going through it, the rest of the family went through. But once he stabilized, the Alzheimer's was the thing that kind of continued to get worse and worse and worse. And that's one of the big challenges with the disease is there's no cure. At best, there's stuff that they can do to kind of slow down the progression, but it is they talk about it being a long walk.
I'm sorry, Dad. I don't want to do this. We don't have to do this. Just stop it, Mom.
Keep rolling. It's okay. It was it's a terrible disease. Because people change. Their memories go. They literally can't remember the beginning of a conversation to the end of a conversation. And so it's hard to connect with them at some point. And my dad was gone way before he passed away. We couldn't talk about a lot of the things that we otherwise would have talked about, whether it be current events or family or anything like that. And that was a hard part of the disease. In the end, whether it was the Alzheimer's or whether my father had a stroke on top of that, it was very hard for him to communicate in any way. So it was a long, lonely path. It's a tough disease.
If you could give any advice to other people affected by Alzheimer's, what would it be?
I think I would tell folks that it's gonna be hard, and you need to prepare yourself for that, and that you should do what you can do, but that's gonna be enough. That in the end, there'll always be other things that you could have done. There'll always be other ways situations could have been handled. But the reality is that as it stands today, with medical technology, there's only so much you can do. And you want to keep them safe and keep them comfortable, and visit them when you can, and get whatever joy and pleasure you can get out of it. And the days it's lonely. But you fight through. The best that you can do is enough.